I'm Gracie.
I'm Sarah, and this is Charlie.
And welcome to a news broadcast from BC News. Today we have a story concerning the veterans from World War I. Veterans, or the Lost Generation, was promised a bonus from Congress. The bonus stated that the veterans were to receive $1.25 for every day served overseas and $1 for every day served in the States. This bonus was due to be paid in 1945 after the United States had a chance to recover from the war.
Although the veterans were struggling at that moment, Patman put the Patman bill together in hopes of getting the veterans the money they needed then, not later. 15,000 veterans, many of which were unemployed, descended into Washington, D.C. to demand their bonus. They called themselves the Bonus Expeditionary Force and became known as the Bonus Army, led by Walter Waters, depicted here.
Flats across the river from the capital was where the largest group banded, with approximately 10,000 veterans, women, and children. The huts or housings were made from old lumber, packing boxes, scrap tin, and roofing conducted from thatched straw. On June 17th, Senate was to vote on a bill already passed by the House determining whether the bonus should be granted to the veterans early. At dusk, approximately 10,000 veterans marched to the Capitol ground. Senate defeated the bill 62 to 18, with veterans stunned. They began the death march, which lasted until July 17th. On July 28th, Attorney General Mitchell ordered the evacuation from government property. Washington police were met with resistance. Shots were fired, killing 2 marchers. Hoover got word and sent MacArthur with his liaison Eisenhower, reportedly using the means of tear gas and bayonets to remove these veterans. Now let's go live to our reporter who's an actual survivor of these attacks.
Christina, and I'm here with a veteran from the Bonus Army. Hi, can you tell us about your experience occupying Washington?
Yeah. Well, I fought in the war, and when Congress promised us the bonus, it wasn't soon enough. You know, I had a family to feed, to clothe, support. I felt like I was betrayed by the very country I fought for.
Were you there the day MacArthur used lethal forces to evacuate you guys?
No, luckily. But I heard about it. My friend was messed up from the attack.
Well, thank you for speaking with us, and thank you for your bravery in the war. I'm Christina, and back to you at the studio. Sunday, December 7, 1941, will go down as a dark day in history with many lives lost. The tranquil waters of Pearl Harbor were forever disrupted by the tides of war. Japan waged war on the United States by attacking Pearl Harbor in Hawaii between 7:55 a.m. and 7:58 a.m. on December 7, 1941.
Hundreds of Japanese fighter planes attacked the harbor. The barrage lasting 2 hours, Japanese fighter planes destroyed 20 American naval vessels, as well as almost 200 fighter aircrafts. A plus of 2,000 American soldiers were killed, with 1,000 wounded.
FDR asked Congress to declare war on Japan the following day. Congress approved. 3 days later, Germany and Italy then declared war on the United States. We reciprocated. This is how the United States entered the Second World War. Now we have an excerpt from President Roosevelt's speech addressing Congress on December 8, 1941.
It will be recorded that the distance of Hawaii from Japan makes it obvious that the attack was deliberately planned many days or even weeks ago. During the intervening time, the Japanese government has deliberately sought to deceive the United States by false statements and expressions of hope for continued peace. The attack yesterday on the Hawaiian Islands has caused severe damage to American naval and military forces. I regret to tell you that very many American lives have been lost.
Flappers were girls who embraced the freedom of the 1920s. Short hair, short, loose dresses, makeup, and wearing high heels were all socially accepted. The styles of the flapper era lasted throughout the 1920s into the early 1930s. When entering the 1930s, women began dressing more conservatively. Skirts became longer, the waistline more defined, and more traditional. A bigger emphasis on distinct looks between night and day. Dorothy Gish, a designer of her day, exaggerated shoulder pads and began using zippers more in her designs. Synthetic fabrics became not only a fad, but also a widespread material. The 1930s was the time of escapism and Hollywood starlets. Both Charlotte Fiel and Emanuel Dinks agreed that the 1930s working woman was all grown-up version of the 1920 flapper. Some challenges of the time with fashion, going hand in hand with the demand of products during World War I, caused a huge change in the availability of luxury. There was a limited number of ration coupons to use for clothes per year. Designers were limited in many ways. There was a limit of 3 buttons per clothing item. Nylon stockings, which covered the women's legs throughout the earlier years, were scarce, leaving women with bare legs and ankles.
Okay.
I've been trying to survive the glow that the sun gives helps me realize.
Hi, my name is Christina and this is
Your
Don't worry, I'll tell your mom what you did. It didn't go.
Okay.
And $1 for every day Dirk
Thank you for saying.
Hundreds of chocolate.
Alright, everyone prep? Oh, my face.
You want powder? We might need some more powder. Okay?
Last looks, Mom. Determining whether the house should be granted. Determining whether the
Japanese.